An update to that mess at the DMV. Those long lines for service are finally dying down, but they're still there. Wait times, though, cut in half. You can see some of the video we shot today. It's a big difference from what we've been seeing from last week.
Yeah, tonight the DMV has just announced that it is suspending services until further notice at 4 part-time photo licensing centers in Derby, Middletown, Milford, and Stamford.
Those employees are being transferred to the larger branches to help make those waiting lines shorter. News 8 Chief Political Correspondent Mark Davis has more from DMV headquarters in Wethersfield.
There still were lines to get into the DMV today, but they were much shorter, and they seem to be moving much faster. Last week's wait time of 5 to 7 hours cut in half.
I was registering 2 cars, and it took about 2.5 hours.
So that's better than it was happening last week.
Yes.
Almost everyone we spoke with said 2.5 hours was average, and most were grateful for the improvement.
About 2.5 hours.
Well, that's better than 5 to 7 hours.
It sure is. I expected all day.
Probably about 2.5 hours or so, but it was pretty good overall. The staff was really good and everything. They kept everything going pretty smoothly today.
As DMV employees continue to get used to the new keystrokes for various functions on the new system, transaction times have been getting faster.
They are continuing to drop. They're not at the level where we want them to be, not at the level that we were before, but we're starting to see better proficiency from our examiners.
The word is also getting out to the public that many services are now available online. The DMV says that last week, 1 person out of every 3 standing in line didn't need to be there.
We had over 5,000 customers who came to us last week that could have done their transaction with ease in just a couple of minutes.
They also continue to remind people that if your license or registration expires this week, it has been automatically extended to October 10th, so you don't need to rush in here.
And they have also prepared this one-page sheet in both English and Spanish that explains that, and where you can go to get your license renewed at the AAA offices, and what transactions you can do by yourself online at home. From the DMV headquarters in Wethersfield, Mark Davis, News 8.